Nearly a year ago, the deadly beating of a 4-year-old girl in Grand Prairie prompted many to question how the system failed her.
Leiliana Wright was one of dozens of children who died in Texas last year as a result of abuse or neglect, despite being on Child Protective Services radar. Her case finally pushed the state to begin overhauling CPS, and now Fox 4 has obtained an audio recording of a Tarrant County judge that reveals how even when CPS is involved, a judge may not find out about it.
Fox 4's Lori Brown in studio tonight with more on the story. Lori.
Stephen, Heather, more than a year before Leiliana Wright died, the little girl's grandmother filed a petition in court for custody and raised serious concerns about her granddaughter's safety. But because of a court system she says she did not understand, she wound up settling outside of court. Now a phone call made by a judge is revealing just how little information a judge may get, even if there are serious concerns about a child's safety.
No one knows how long Leiliana Wright truly suffered. Her life ended after a brutal beating in March 2016. Police have charged Leiliana's mother and boyfriend, saying they were high on heroin and tortured and beat Leiliana because she drank her 18-month-old little brother's juice.
Every night I go in, I give her a kiss like this.
More than a year before Leiliana's death, Elisa Clakeley was worried about her granddaughter's safety. She had a custody hearing set to go before Judge Diane Haddock. Leading up to that hearing, Clakeley filed a petition with the court stating that Leiliana's safety was in jeopardy with her mom. Clakeley also filed an affidavit alleging that Leiliana's mother was using drugs. But we've now discovered from a secretly recorded phone call, a judge was never required to read the information Clakeley filed.
Well, you were calling, so talk to me.
That's the voice of Tarrant County Associate Judge Diane Haddock.
They had an opportunity, in my opinion, to protect Leiliana and prevent this.
After seeing a news story last April about Leiliana's case in Judge Haddock's court, a concerned citizen called the judge's office.
A tragedy, a terrible tragedy. And, you know, something that you need to know about me, I'll tell you, I've been on the bench for 17 years. I was hard to talk about this case.
The caller was surprised to get a call back from the judge herself. The caller recorded the phone conversation without the judge's knowledge, which is legal in Texas.
I still lose my breath about it, and I cry my eyes out.
She asked us not to show her face because she has a family member with a different case before Judge Haddock. The caller shared the recording with Elisa Clakeley, the paternal grandmother of Leiliana, who had fought for custody of Leiliana.
That beautiful girl ended up in here.
The caller wanted to know how much Judge Haddock knew.
What happened? I mean, this is a major. I'm so glad you're asking. Can we talk freely?
The judge went on to reveal conflicting information about the case.
When she filed, she attached an affidavit, but there was no evidence to the affidavit. Now, since we have done the research that we've done, and since CPS did their research, there was never even a CPS report prior to January of 2016.
Well, what about in the affidavit? There are some indications that CPS was involved with the mother.
But it wasn't true.
But the caller was right. According to this state report, CPS opened investigations involving Leiliana and her mother in 2014, 2015, and 2016. But Judge Haddock did not know that because there were no supporting documents included with Clakeley's affidavit. As for the mother's alleged drug use around her children.
And according to the affidavit, the baby, the little boy, was born with marijuana. No evidence of that. There's no evidence of that.
While there was no official evidence of the mother's drug use submitted to Judge Haddock, we were able to confirm what Clakeley alleged. In October 2014, 2 months before the scheduled hearing, CPS already had a report that Leiliana's little half-brother was born with drugs in his system. And during that investigation, the children's mother tested positive on a drug test.
Despite all of this evidence existing, Clakeley's attorney did not file any supporting documents with the court to back up his client's sworn statement.
I think it's really difficult to say.
We asked family law attorney Lacey Bowman what other things could have helped the grandmother's case. She talked with us about how custody cases work in general.
If there are things like an arrest report or a CPS report, you can do things like subpoena the CPS caseworker to be at the hearing and to bring the file. You can subpoena the documents from the police department. All of those things are tools that the client has in order to get all of the evidence possible before the judge.
Despite Elisa Clickley's affidavit raising her concerns, her attorney advised her to come to an agreement outside of Haddock's courtroom.
He said, Elisa, if you go into her courtroom, or his exact words, you are going to lose everything. These attorneys were afraid, if you will, to go into her courtroom.
Both parties agreed to give Leiliana's mother custody and guarantee the Clickley's visitation rights. As a result, the judge never heard the case, but signed off on the agreement. Clickley's attorney, Gregory Houseworth, declined to talk with us about why he advised Clickley not to go before Judge Haddock. Clickley filed a complaint with the Texas bar against Houseworth. She believes if there had been a hearing in the case, Leiliana would be alive today.
Anytime harm comes to a child, it's frustrating and it's heartbreaking.
Judge Haddock was appointed by Judge William Harris. In April of last year, a month after Leiliana's death, Judge Harris told us there was no court documentation of CPS's involvement, and that is possibly one reason why critical information did not come to light.
It certainly appears that there should have been a hearing on this case. It certainly appears that the court should have been given some evidence about the mother and about her circumstances. And I think it's tragic that the court never was allowed to hear that evidence.
I really do like that you called. And I like that just by accident we've had this opportunity to talk, because it's cathartic for me to get to sometimes tell the rest of the story.
Do you feel like the system failed Leiliana?
Absolutely. Hands down.
Clickley hopes changes are made in the judicial system that require family court judges to read affidavits like the one she filed before signing off on an agreement. So the next time there are red flags about a child's safety, a judge can question them before it's too late.
I'm going to tell you, I love you, and I'll never forget you.
It is important to note that the Texas bar determined Clickley's attorney did not violate any rules handling her case. Judge Haddock and Judge Harris declined to comment for this story because of a pending investigation with the Texas Commission of Judicial Conduct. Leiliana's mother and the mother's boyfriend are both set to go to trial for Leiliana's homicide this spring. Steve.
Okay, Lori, here in the news we get calls all the time from maybe spouses in a divorce or grandparents, people, like a lot of people involved in your stories, wondering about if a child is safe and being taken care of in the court system. It was really disturbing, I think, to hear a judge not know what was going on with that case. What can people do who are concerned about these issues? What can they do?
Well, one of the things that really frustrates the people who call us is that even they cannot get the CPS case file, even if they're a grandparent or a relative to the child. But something that I learned working on this story is that a CPS case file can become public record through a court hearing. Lacey Bowman told us that an attorney can subpoena the CPS caseworker and ask them to bring the file. But there does have to be a hearing to get that file entered into evidence.
Okay, Lori Brown, thank you.